to all of you. Am I audible? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this particular class, we'll be starting with or we'll be learning about another data structure called linked list. In the previous discussions, we have seen about a data structure called arrays. We have seen what actually is an array and what are the different operations that we can perform with the arrays. Now, before we go for studying the linked list, we should know why we should go for the linked list and what are its properties compared to arrays. So, what are its properties compared to arrays? So, basically, we were using arrays to store the elements of the same data type. So, we were using arrays to store the elements of the same data type. If you want to store integer elements, so all the elements in the array will be of type integer. If you want to store the character elements, all the elements in the array will be of character type. So, but whereas in case of linked list, we can create the nodes which contain more than one type of data. That means by using structures, we can create the node and which can contain more than one type of data together. For example, integer data, character data, and floating point type of data. So that can contain data together. So that is one property of the linked list. And the disadvantage of array was, that means disadvantages of arrays. So once you declare an array something like this, int a of 5. So what it makes here is an array will get allocated onto the memory. An array will get reserved, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what is the name of this array? Name of this array is a. So the disadvantage with this here is you can store maximum 5 elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. If you want to store more than 5 elements, that is not possible with the arrays, because array is nothing but an example for static memory allocation. Memory will get allocated for the arrays during compilation time. Memory will get allocated for the arrays during compilation time. So once you allocate the memory, we cannot extend it at the right side. You cannot extend the memory once you allocate the memory. That is what is disadvantage of the array. So another disadvantage is, assume you have reserved something space like this, A of 50. So 50 different locations you have reserved. So on up to 49. These many memory locations you have reserved for the array. Now, for example, during the execution, if you are using only these 5 locations, maximum utilization for these arrays is only 5 locations. Beyond that, you are not using at all. And this unnecessarily memory will get wasted. That means whatever space is reserved here, it will be wasted. Why? Because we have reserved 50 blocks of memory locations and we are using only 5 memory locations. So remaining 45 blocks will be wasted unnecessarily. So that is another disadvantage of the array. That means memory is fixed. You cannot increase it or you cannot decrease it. That is what is disadvantage of the array. Whereas what is a linked list? It is a collection of nodes or the data elements which is going to represent the logical connection between the other data element. Logical connection between the other data elements. So we can define the linked list like this. Linked list is collection of nodes where every node contains minimum 2 fields. One is information field or data field. Another one is link field or pointer field. The data field will actually contain the actual data and the pointer will contain pointer to the next node. Pointer to the next node. So that is what is linked list. That means once we see its representation, we'll come to know. So linked list has two parts. The information part contains the actual data, and next our pointer part contains address of the next node. Pointer part contains address of the next node of the linked list. address of the next node of the linked list. Right? Now, once we look at the diagrammatic representation of the linked list, the things will be clear. So how do we represent a linked list in memory? So when we talk about linked list, when you look at the arrays will occupy consecutive memory locations in the main memory. That means memory locations are continuous in nature, that we have seen. Whereas for the linked list, the memory need not occupy the contiguous memory locations. Because what we do for the linked list here is, we allocate the memory for the nodes from the place wherever the memory is available. From the place wherever the memory is available. So they can be stored in the locations wherever the memory is available, but they are linked with the help of pointer. They are linked with the help of pointer, and they look like they are linear data structures. They look like they are linear data structures. So this is one single node present in the linked list. So how each and every node is represented in linked list here is, it basically consists of minimum two parts. The first part here is information part or the data part. You can give any other names. The first part is information part and the other part is link part, or it is also called as a next pointer, or whatever name you can give. This information part is going to contain the actual data. The information part will contain the actual data, and the link part will contain the address of the next node. The link part will contain the address of the next node. That means this is going to point to the next node. This is going to point to the next node. Again, that next node will also contain two parts. Again, that next node will also contain two parts. So as you can see in this diagram here, this thing is one node of the linked list. This entire thing is one single node of the linked list. So as we know, the linked list consists of minimum two fields. The information field, which contains the actual data which you want to store. The next, or the pointer field, which contains pointer to the next node, or which points to the next node. Which points to the next node. So which points to the next node. Next is a pointer which is pointing to the next node. And combination of these two, as you can see here, this is representing one single node. This is representing one single node within the linked list. And as we know, this contains the data element, and this is what is pointer to the next node. And this is containing pointer to the next node. Similarly, next node also contains two fields. The information field, which contains the actual data, and next field, which contains address of the next node, or pointer to the next node. It will go on repeating, and at the end we will be having last node. And this is the information part of the last node, and this is next pointer of the last node. And as we can make out with this, for the last node there is no next node. And for the last node there is no next node, then this will be containing null value. That means it is pointing to null. There is no next node. So address of the next node is null. So there is no next node after the last node. And throughout our discussions, we'll be assuming some special pointers. That is, first is a pointer which will always point to the first node of the linked list. Last is another pointer which will always point to the last node of the linked list. So this is how we represent the linked list in memory. Now let us see the different advantages of using linked list. So linked lists are going to support dynamic memory allocation. That means we can allocate memory for the nodes only when it is required. That means you can start like this. You can start with only one node. If you want to store the data and make this as null. If you want to store one more element called 20, then immediately allocate the memory. For one more node, store the data in that location, make this null, then create a link between these two. That is what is dynamic memory allocation. As and when it is required during the execution of the program, then only the memory will be allocated. And with this, we are not wasting the memory. Unnecessarily, we are not wasting the memory. If you want to store memory for one node, allocate and store it. For another node, allocate and store it. Then we will not make any other allocations. After some point, if you want to store one more node, then what you do? Allocate memory for one more node, whereas it has two fields. Store the data in that, make this as none, then perform linking between these two. Then perform linking between these two. That is how the linked list supports a dynamic memory allocation. That means elements are added. That means we can add new elements or delete during the execution. If you want to delete this, that is possible. You can just deallocate the memory and make this as null. If you want to delete 20, that is possible during the execution. What we can do here is we can just make this field as null. So it's going to support dynamic memory allocation. We'll come to know how with the examples as our discussion goes on. We'll be learning these things. So linked list ensures efficient utilization of the memory. So as I gave an example, if you want to allocate memory for a node, allocate it and store it. But the disadvantages with the array we have seen. If you have continuously allocated memory for how many locations? Say for 100, 0, 1, 2, so on up to 99. For 99 different elements, you have allocated memory by using array. And if you are using only part of that and remaining part will get wasted. That is the disadvantage with array. Whereas in linked list, what we do, if you want to store allocate for one node, start with allocating memory for only that node. If you want to store second node, allocate memory for second node and store it. If you want to store third data, allocate memory for third data and store it. So that is how only when it is required, the memory will be allocated. And another advantage here is it is easy to insert and delete elements in a linked list. So how we will see it later. Unlike arrays, in arrays what happens, if you want to insert or delete, you have to shuffle or you have to shift all the elements to the right or left. So that discussion we have seen. If this is an array, the disadvantage of array was if this is an array which is already available with the elements 10, 20, 30, 40 and so many elements are there. So many elements are there. And if you want to take a new element called 80 and want to insert here somewhere, then what we have to do here is this involves shifting of all the elements. That is increasing computation overhead. What you have to do here is all the elements should be shifted to the right by one location. That means 30 should occupy this location, 40 should occupy this location, and remaining elements you have to shift. Then 10, 20, then 80 will get placed in this location. So that shifting is involved if you want to insert new element. If you want to delete element, also shifting is required. But that is not the case in case of linked list. We have to just allocate memory for the new node and just we have to change the pointers. That's it. So that is very easy to add or delete the elements from the linked list. So there are some disadvantages also for the linked list. So the first disadvantage here is every node in a linked list will consume more memory space in comparison to array elements. Why? Because for every node we are storing the pointer. We have to allocate memory for the pointer also. For example, in array if you are storing 10, if you are storing 10 here, if that itself is the node in a linked list, then you have to use two fields. First field is for information, another one is for the pointer. So here 10 will get stored and here you have to reserve space for the pointer also. If integer is taking 4 bytes, then pointer will also take 4 bytes. That means nearly double memory will be wasted in case of linked list, because we have to reserve the memory for the pointer also. Now this becomes one node. Then similarly the next node in the linked list, if you want to represent this 20, so 20 will be occupied here, and for this we have to reserve the memory here, which will point to the next node. So memory consumption is more in case of linked list. Now, the another disadvantage is accessing of elements in the linked list is complicated compared to array elements. So how do we access the array elements? The array elements we can access just by using the subscript. It is very easy for us to access the array element with the name of the array, with the subscript which element you want to access. For example, if you want to access the element which is located here in the 10th index and name of the array is A. So how we can access this element? Just by specifying name of the array and within the square bracket subscript of the index value of the element. This is how we access the elements in the array. But whereas in the linked list, to access the elements in a linked list, we have to traverse all the elements. We have to traverse all the elements. Say, for example, there are, this is node 1, node 2, node 3, so on up to node 99. There are 99 different nodes in this. Right, data part and link part. This is node number 1. So if you want to access the data present in this node, you have to traverse all the nodes from left to right. We need to traverse all the nodes. We need to traverse all the nodes. That is one more disadvantage of the linked list. That is one more disadvantage of the linked list. So when we study about a data structure, they'll be having some disadvantages and advantages. So this was the concept what we have seen about the data structures linked list. Data structure about the linked list. Right now, to implement it, that means for practical implementation of this linked list, we need to do two things. What are the two fundamental things to be followed? First, declare a node. That means you have to define a structure to hold the elements of the linked list, to hold the elements of each and every node of the linked list. That is first step. Declare the node in the linked list. Then define what are the different operations that we can perform with the linked list. So the first thing what we have to do here is declaration of the linked list node. That means you have to declare the node of each and every linked list. Now, for declaring node, we make use of the structure. In this case, node is the name given for the structure. And as we know, linked list consists of at least two fields, minimum two fields. One is information field. In this case, it is of type integer. Another one is pointer. See here, star next is the pointer, which contains or which points to the next node of the same type. Of what type? Of struct node. That's why its type here is struct node. So diagrammatically, how you can assume this structure declaration here is this node declaration. This is one node. Which consists of two parts. First one here is information part, and another one here is next part, which is a pointer to the next node. And why the data type of the information is integer? That means we can store here integer type of data. The data type of next here is struct node. That means this in turn will point to the next element, which is again a node. That's why its data type is struct node. It is a pointer which points to another node. So this is a pointer which points to another node. So another node also will contain information field and the next field. Another node will also contain the information field and the next field. So combination of these two is nothing but our node. This is first node and this is second node. So that is how we declare the node. Now here, for our explanation purpose, it has been assumed that the node is containing only one information part. But during real-time implementation, we may have more than one information part also. For example, the node may look like this. You may store one more here in the structure definition. In the structure definition, I'm just trying to add one more line. Int age. Int age. Age is one more information field that I'm trying to store here. Now, how my node looks like? Node will be something like this. What is the first field? Age is the first field. What is the next field? Info is the next field. What is the next field? Third field is next. And this is how the node looks now. If you want to add one more information called float, say float x, one more field you want to add here. One more field you want to add here. That means how the node looks like now. The node will have one more data field. What is that? X is another data field. You can have any number of information fields. You can have any number of data fields, and this is what is one pointer field. This will point to the next node. Again, next node also in turn it will contain how many information field? X, age, information pointer. So that's why we define linked list node as the node will contain at least one data field, minimum one data field and minimum one pointer field. Minimum one data and minimum one pointer. You can have more than one data also. You can have more than one data field also. That was the representation of node in a linked list. Now let us see how can we perform different operations on a linked list. There are the typical operations what we can perform on the linked list are: we can insert new elements onto the linked list, we can delete some of the nodes from the linked list, or we can search for some given data in the linked list, or we can display all the elements in the linked list. They are insert, delete, search, and print. So these are the possible operations what we can perform on the linked list. Right, so these were the possible operations what we can perform on the linked list. So now let us study each and every operation in detail. Each and every operation in detail. So insert, how do we insert a new node into the linked list? You want to insert a new node onto the linked list. So what actually is the procedure? To insert a new node onto the linked list, first you should allocate memory for the node. That means first step is memory space must be reserved for the new node. Obtain the new node. That means how do we obtain the new node? Let us assume that for our explanation purpose, node consists of two parts. That means that our node is consisting of two parts. This one is, I will write I for information and N for next. Two fields are present in the node of the linked list. First step here is you have to allocate memory for this new node. That means allocate memory for this new node. Get the physical memory for the new node. After getting the physical memory, then only we can store the data in that particular new node. So what is the next step? The element is stored in the information part of the new node. So assume that you want to store these numbers. You want to insert one number called 20 onto the linked list. Earlier this linked list is empty. Earlier this linked list is empty. Now when you insert 10, then the linked list will get created. When you insert this 10, then the linked list will get created. What is step B? What it says? The element is stored in information part of the new node. That means in the node we have two parts, information part and next part. In the information part, store the element because we want to store 10. That is second step. Third step, the new node is connected to the existing node in the linked list. Connect the new node to the existing nodes. But in this case, there are no existing nodes. This itself is the very first node. This itself is the very first node of the linked list. So in that case, this itself will become the first node and the next pointer will be made to null. This is \0. We will indicate null by using \0. Why it is null? Because there is no next node. If there is a next node, then only it will point to the next node. So these are the three simple steps what we do. What we have to do. First step, allocate memory for the new node. Second step, store the data in the information field. Third step, the new node has to be connected to the linked list. New node has to be connected to the linked list, or the new node has to be added to the linked list. Now, whenever you want to add a new node to the linked list, there are three different scenarios. There are three possibilities. What are the three possibilities? You can either add a new node at the beginning of the linked list, or you can add a new node at the end of the linked list, or you can add somewhere in between. Only that are the three possibilities. Only those are the three possibilities. Whenever you are adding a new node, if you want, you can add either at the beginning of the linked list or at the end of the linked list or somewhere in between. Only these are the three possibilities for addition of a new node in a linked list. And among these, the option 1 and 2 are easy. Adding at the beginning and adding at the end is very easy, because we have to just uh, change our first and last pointers. We have to just change our first and last pointers. As I can see here, first and last pointers, they are pointing to the first and last node. If you, the minor changes will take place, whereas for inserting in between, that means if a new element has to be added somewhere in between, first you have to search the location. That means where you want to insert. Then we want to search, perform search operation to identify the point of insertion. Because beginning and end already we know. First is pointing to the first node, last is pointing to the last node. But if you want to insert somewhere in between, first you have to search the location and find the location, and there you perform insertion and adjust the left and right pointers. Then you have to adjust left and right pointers. So that is some tricky process when you want to insert somewhere in between. Now what happens, the scenario, addition and the beginning and addition at the beginning and end will not consume more computation cost. Now what happens when you insert somewhere in between? So assume this is the existing linked list. That means there are two nodes in our linked list. This is data part 1 and next node. That means it is simply a pointer which points to the next node. They have identified it as N2. Then data part 2 and N3. This is node 1 and this is node 2. So these are the, we have two nodes in the linked list now. We have two nodes in the linked list. Now, if you want to insert this new node in the linked list, that is how the scenario will change. What happens here is the pointer of the first node should point to the node X, to the new node, and the next pointer of the new node should point to the next node. That means we are inserting it somewhere in between. We are inserting it somewhere in between. That means what is happening here is node X is being inserted between node N1 and node N2. That means now we have to change. This next pointer, instead of pointing to this node, this should point to the node X. And the next pointer of node X should point to the node N2. Node N2. That means automatically that will get inserted in between. So automatically that will get inserted in between. That is D1 part, and this is our node X, this is node N1, and this is node N2. Node N1 and node N2. How do you do? Just perform linking here like this and perform linking here like this. And as usual, it will continue. As usual, these things will continue. And we have successfully added a new node in between. What is the simple procedure? Just obtain the memory location for the new node, search the location where you want to insert the element and change the pointers. That means wherever you insert, wherever you find the location, the previous node should point to the new node and the pointer of the new node should point to the next node. That insertion you have to perform. So once we take the example, the things will be clear. So algorithm to insert an element at the end of the linked list. This we are trying to insert an element at the end of the linked list. So it actually should not be the end. We are performing the overall insertion here. We are performing the overall insertion. Okay, let us see the first case. I'll just erase this because we need space. All right, I'll zoom this little bit. Okay, I want to insert this new value in the existing linked list. So step one is start, or which is then step 8 is stop. We are starting and stopping there. Now, as we know, if you want to allocate the new node, take PTR and which is going to point to the address of the new node. That means what we do, first you allocate memory for the new node. We will start blankly like this. Take the new node and allocate memory for that. Once you allocate memory for the new node, it will be having two fields. What is that? Information field and next field. Information field will contain actual data, next will contain the pointer, and call it as a PTR. Just we are giving some name for that. That means in the comment the explanation is also given, which is helpful for better understanding. Address, allocate new node and assign its address to the PTR. So we have simply allocated a new node and named or labeled it as PTR. This I should insert into the new node. Right? Step 2 is over. Step 3, set PTR pointer info equal to value. So this is member access operation. In the PTR we have two fields. So assume you want to insert this. What I want to insert? I want to insert 10 into the linked list. So set PTR pointer info. That means info pointer PTR. Here 10 is the value. I want to insert 10. Assume we have passed 10 as the parameter for the algorithm and we want to insert 10 in the linked list. So what is the third step? Third step, what we are doing here is PTR pointer info. Whatever value you want to store in the linked list, that value should be assigned to what? PTR pointer info. PTR pointer info means this field. This field will get a value of 10. We are just creating the node. We are creating the node. We have allocated memory for the node and we have stored the data 10 in the information part. Always information part will contain the data and next will contain the pointer to the next node. This is the procedure now. Just now we are following it. Now, so what the comment indicates, store the element value, whatever value you want to store in the information part. So that we have done. Now go to next step. What step 4 says, if first is equal to null, that is possible. We know, we have studied just now that first is a pointer which will always point to the first node of the linked list. Last is a pointer which will always point to the last node of the linked list. Now this is what we have started just now. That means it is understood that first is pointing to null. It is understood that first is pointing to null because there are no nodes in the linked list. Last is also pointing to the null because there are no nodes in the linked list. This is the very first node. This is the very first node what we are inserting in the linked list. So when you are inserting very first node in the linked list, obviously first will be set to null and last will also set to null. In our case, step 4 is true. What is that? If first is equal to null, that means check. Is the first is pointing to null. That means are there zero nodes in the linked list? If there are zero nodes in the linked list, what happens? This itself will become first node of the linked list. If there are zero nodes in the linked list, this itself will become first node of the linked list. So that's what we are checking. If first is equal to null, which is true in our case, because there are no nodes, then go to step 5. In our case, it is true. We have to go to step 5. What step 5 says? Set first equal to PTR. That means whatever node is there where PTR is pointing to, that node itself will become the first node, and that itself will become the last node. That means what we are trying to do here is, if first is null, we will go to step 5, and what we do? Assign PTR to first, or in other words, make first to point to PTR. Make first to point to PTR. That means now first is pointing to PTR, FIRST, right? First is pointing to PTR. We are concentrating at the step 5, and last will point to PTR. Because why first and last both are same? Because this is the very first node. This is the very first node in the linked list. First is also the same node, last is also the same node. First and last both are same. Obviously, in this case, this will be containing null value. That means we are updating first and last pointers. What we have updated? We have updated first saying that it is pointing to 10. We have updated last saying that it is also pointing to 10. Why? Because when there were zero nodes in the linked list, and when we have inserted first node called 10, then that itself will become the first node as well as the last node. That itself will become the first node as well as the last node. Then after step 5, we will continue with the step 6. We will continue with the step 6. So what step 6 says? So this already I have written here well in advance. That is, set PTR pointer next equal to null. This PTR pointer next, this I have made it as null, because there are no next node. This is the very first node what we have inserted. Then go to step 8. What step 8 says? Simply stop. We have created one node and simply stop. So that is what is the procedure we have followed when we wanted to insert one element. First element is successfully inserted. The first element is successfully inserted for the linked list. Please pay attention. So don't worry if the things are not understanding in one go. Very simple thing. At the end, you will come to a situation in such a way that you no need to read this algorithm. You will become so much thorough with the concepts that this algorithm is not at all required once you understand the logic, right? So next thing here is, I want to insert one more element called 20. What is our existing linked list now? Our existing linked list is this one. First is pointing to 10, last is pointing to 10. Are we connected till now? I have been speaking since long time. Are you understanding? Are you getting the things? Is there any disturbance in the network or anything?
No, sir.
Okay, things are fine. Okay, I'll assume that things are good, and I'll continue. So what is the next step? Once we insert some nodes, the things will be clear. Now I want to insert one more element called 20. So let us start again the same procedure from the beginning. I will start the procedure once again from the beginning. What our algorithm says, I want to insert one more element. What element I want to insert? I want to insert 20. I want to insert one more element in the existing linked list, and that element is 20. So I'll start with step 1. Step 1 is always start, and step 8 is stop. Now what is the procedure whenever you want to insert a new node? Right? So here assumption what we are following here is the new instead of, I need space here, I'll erase this part and I'll write it here. That means we want to insert 10 is inserted successfully, and next I want to insert one more element called 20. So with that new element we will allocate it, the new element we will allocate it we are storing the new node at the end of the linked list. So just as we are attaching it here itself, I will show the new node here. This is the new node which we want to attach. And what we have to call it as? We have to call it as PTR. This is what we are calling it as PTR. This is what you are calling it as PTR. Once you call it as PTR, this is identified by the first and last only. Now this is not required for us. This PTR is not required for us. This is the new node. Now this is the new node which we want to insert, and that is identified by the PTR. Step 2 we have done. What we have done? We have taken the new node, allocate memory for the new node and assign its address to PTR. So new node is ready now. What is the next step? This 20 must be stored here because new node also contains information part and next part. Set PTR pointer info. That means whatever value you want to store in the linked list, that value should be assigned to info field of the PTR. That value should be assigned to info field of the PTR. This PTR contains two fields, information field and the next field. Information field and the next field. So information field will contain the actual data and next field will contain the pointer to the next node. Now among these two, we are storing value in the information part. That is, value will be stored in the information part of the PTR. So PTR has information part. PTR pointer info will get what now? 20 will be stored. We have stored 20 in that one. Step 3. Next, step 4. What step 4 says? Check whether the linked list is empty. That means if first is pointing to null, because if first is pointing to null, that indicates there are 0 nodes in the linked list, and this itself will become the first node. In our case, that is not true. Why? Because first is not pointing to null. Where first is pointing? First is pointing to some node called 10. That means this is false. If first is null, then only we'll go to step 5. If this is true, then only we'll go to step 5. Else part is true in this case. Why else is true? Because first is not pointing to null. First is pointing to some node because there are already some nodes present in the linked list. What it indicates? There are already some nodes present in the linked list and we should attach this as the next node. That's what else part is true, and we will go to step number 7. We will go to step number 7. That means 5 and 6 will be skipped. 5 and 6 will be skipped. 5 and 6 will be used only when you are inserting node for the first time. Now we'll go to step number 7. Let us see what step number 7 says. What step number 7 says? What is our purpose? We have to take this and attach to the existing node. That means this pointer should point to this one. This next should point to this one. That's how we are going to attach it. So what is that? Last pointer next should point to PTR. The meaning of this here is the next field of the last node should point to PTR. The next field of the last node should point to PTR, or in other words, PTR should be assigned to the next field of the last node. That means the impact of this line I will explain. The impact of this statement. What is that? This statement. Last pointer next equal to PTR. So what is last? Last is pointing to this node. That means next field of the last node should be made to, this should be made to what? This should be made to what? Point to PTR. Now this will point to PTR. This is pointing to PTR because we are attaching this. Next, PTR pointer next should be made as null. This should be made as null. PTR pointer next should be made as null because there is no next node. This we are taking it and attaching it to the end of existing linked list. Next, See here, when you attach this to this node, this will become the last node. Earlier, this was the last node. Now this will become the last node. So how we can change that? Just simply make PTR and simply take the PTR and assign it to last. Or in other words, make last to point to PTR. Make this last to point to PTR. What I'll do, I'll just use the other ink. What I'm doing here is make last to point to the node. The meaning of this, make last to point to the node wherever PTR is pointing to or PTR is assigned to last. So now this becomes LAST, that is last node. Now this becomes last node. And when this becomes last node, at any given point of time, these pointers can point to any one node. This cannot point to both the points. Now removing this from other than this, now it will point to which node? It is pointing to last node. So what we have done, we have successfully inserted another node and we will stop. We have successfully inserted another node onto the linked list. We have successfully inserted another node onto the linked list. All right. Right. 1 second. I'll take one more iteration so that things will be clear. So this I need space here. I will try to draw it once again. The linked list I am drawing it once again. The existing linked list 10 is here, information field and node field. Then take the next pointer. All right. This is the next node. Information field and the next field. What is information field here is 20 and this next is null. And now we don't need this PTR. Okay. 1 second. I have to show the first and last pointers. See, when I point this first means it is not pointing to, it doesn't mean that it is pointing to null. It is pointing to this entire node. It is pointing to this entire node. So for better understanding, I can show it like this. This is the entire node which is pointed by the first pointer, right? And now this is the entire node which is pointed by the last node, last pointer, which is pointed by the last pointer. So that means with this first you can access both the fields. With this last you can access both the fields. That is what is the meaning. So and now I will remove this. So when I write like this, both the fields are accessible. When I write like this, both the fields are accessible. It is pointing to this node. Now as I need this space, I'll erase this part. So let us go for inserting one more node. I will explain the algorithm once again. I'll iterate once again. Now we have successfully inserted what? 10 we have inserted, 20 we have inserted. Let us say I want to insert one more element called 30. Let us say I want to insert one more element called 30. That means we are passing 30 as the value. Begin the algorithm. What is the procedure? So procedure here is, first you have to take the new node. First take the new node. Just take the new node which contains two parts, information part and the next part. Information part and the next part. That is what is step 2. And we call it as PTR for our reference purpose. PTR is the node which has to be inserted now, Then whatever information you want to store, which information we want to store now, 30. Store it in the information field of the PTR. That means whatever value you are storing, in this case it is 30. 30 should be stored where? In the info field of the PTR. In the info field of the PTR, what I am storing? I am storing 30. I am storing 30. Next, go to step 4. Check. Is it the very first node in the linked list that we are inserting? How do we check? This will be first node only if the first is pointing to null. When first will point to null? First will point to null when there are no nodes in the linked list. But in our case, we have two nodes. This is first node and this is the second node. In our case, we have two nodes. When we have two nodes, obviously this is false. Check. Is first is pointing to null? No. First is not pointing to null. Why? Because first is pointing to some node called 10. If this is true, then only we will go for the step 5. Now this is false in our case. This is false in our case. Then only we will go for step number 7. Then only we will go for step number 7. We will skip step number 5 and step number 6. We will go to step number 7. What step number 7 says? This last should be made to this, the next field of the last node should point to the new node which we are inserting. That means the logic here is I want to take this pointer and attach it to this node, new node, so that it comes into this linked list. So how I can access this? Last pointer next should point to PTR. That is what is the statement. What it says? Last pointer next is equal to PTR. The next field of the last pointer should point to PTR, or PTR should be assigned to the next field of the last. That means last pointer next should be point to PTR. So what I will write here is last pointer next should point to PTR. Last pointer next should point to PTR. Next, this should be made as null. PTR pointer next equal to null, because there is no next node. This is the new node what we are attaching. Make it as null. Then they take this last and make it to point to this node, because once we insert this new node, this becomes the last node of the linked list. This becomes the last node of the linked list. So how we can make that impact? With this statement, that is last equal to PTR. That means PTR is assigned to last, or last is made to point to PTR. Last is being made to point to PTR. Now what happens? I'll show it with the different ink. Now this last is being made to point to what? PTR, LAST, last. Now finally we will stop. So once this last is changing from this node to this node, what I have to do is I have to remove this last. I have to remove this last. And remember, now this will not contain null. This should be erased. This will not contain null. This should be erased. It is now, this is earlier it was containing null. Now it will contain pointer to the next node. Now what we have done, what is the impact now? The first node is pointing to 10 and last node is pointing to 30. And this is the simple procedure what we follow for inserting a new node onto the linked list. For inserting a new node onto the linked list. That means 30 has been inserted successfully. Here 30 has been inserted successfully. Info field, next field, and this is what is last node. This is what is last pointer, and which next field is containing null here. Now quickly I will iterate. I'll insert one more node. Let us say we want to insert 40. Now forget about this procedure. Without procedure I'll explain. Take the new node, allocate memory for that, and in the information field store the data which you want to attach to the linked list. Make the next field as null. Check whether first is pointing to null. No, it is not pointing to null. That means there are some nodes in the linked list. So what you have to do, wherever last is pointing, take the last pointer next and attach it to PTR. This we are calling it as PTR. Take last pointer next and attach it to PTR. So take this next field and attach it to PTR. Then take this last and make it to point to PTR. So what I will do, I'll erase this last and make it to point to PTR. Make it to point to PTR. So that is the simple procedure what we follow for inserting an element. This is the simple procedure what we follow for inserting an element onto the linked list. So today we have seen about the basics of linked list and one fundamental operation of the linked list called inserting an element onto the linked list.